Hey everyone, just want to give a heads up that this episode of Jams contains quite serious topics that are mentioned in the album, like cancer, abusive relationships, and depression. Nick and I discuss these topics in a lighthearted manner. If these topics are triggering, please turn off the episode here. With that said, please enjoy episode 5 of Jams. Hey everyone, welcome to Jams, the podcast where I sit down with a guest and discuss an album of their choosing. This week, my good friend Nick pops by to discuss the Antlers 2009 release, Hospice. We chat about our interpretations of this album, the role that albums that discuss illness play in music, and how the album is completely different to anything I've listened to before. So let's cut to Nick and I discussing Hospice.
Alright, what have we got?
Well, would you like to do the intro?
Absolutely. What's nibbling, nipsters? Welcome back to episode 5 of the J-Man podcast. Today we've got Jams on here, and we're going to be talking about Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah! Oh, what's your first question about Red Hot Chili Peppers that you want me to answer?
Who are they?
Oh, bro. Don't get me started. What era are we talking about, bro?
What's your favorite era of Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I think the Josh Klinghoffer era is not many people going to agree. Josh Klinghoffer era, I'm with you, I'm beside you, The Getaway.
They did good stuff.
Very good.
What's your second favorite era of the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I would say Californication to Stadium Arcadium, which is 99 into 2008. Yeah.
I see you've put a lot of thought into this beforehand.
I did, yeah.
And I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song from Hospice?
It's really good. That's really good. Let me just think. There's all of them, like a Chili Peppers song, very upbeat and very dance to it.
Yeah.
It's makes you feel good inside.
It does.
It does. Yeah. Anyway,
it's
Nick.
really an uplifting album.
It is. It is. It's definitely unlike a Chili Peppers album, which is so sad.
It's so sad.
They have some sad songs, man.
I like to wake up to the entire album, Hospice.
Yeah.
I play that every morning just to get me out of bed, going in the morning, you know.
Yep.
Anytime I don't listen to it, I'm like, I need coffee. But anytime I do, I'm good.
It's your daily routine. You just dedicate like 50 minutes a morning.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't feel good.
I want to feel the entire breadth of human emotion first thing in the morning, and then I'm good to go. I felt everything. Yep. I felt as bad as I will that day. Nothing can bring me lower.
I remember a while ago you talking to me about like having a cold shower in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
You can take anything on in the day if you've had a cold shower. It's like nothing's getting worse.
Nothing's getting worse. Yeah, nothing is paired better like a fine wine than a cold shower with Hospice.
You just crouch down into a bowl immediately.
Just sobbing in the corner of my shower, avoiding the cold. With headphones on.
Oh no.
I assume the perspective we're taking is that people listening to this haven't heard the album. Is that right?
I guess so. I think with the first couple episodes, I was relying on doing sort of decent albums that everyone knows. Not decent, like this isn't.
Okay,
decent,
I hear
but
you.
Like,
I hear
you. No. But like with like Kanye West, we did MF Doom.
Sure.
And like,
okay.
Sort of like they're quite well known.
So you were excited when you heard me say I wanted to do Donda 2.
Yeah.
And then when I said no, I actually want to do Hospice, you said, "What's that?"
And then I listened to it,
and you were like, I still don't know.
Yeah. No,
and then you listened to it again. You were like, "Oh, it's about cancer."
It's about cancer.
It's about cancer. Cancer is a serious issue that we will discuss somewhat lightheartedly.
Yes, perfect. Perfect way of explaining that.
Yeah. What's your first question?
Well, now it's a good question. Asking me what's the first.
You're welcome.
Okay, for the listeners that don't know about this album,
Yeah.
how would you describe it to them?
Okay, it's a one-song album which goes for 50 minutes,
Yeah.
and you can't listen to just one song.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a 50-minute experience. I would suggest that if you've ever heard of that, I can't think of the name of it right now, but there's that like 3 to 4 hour long album about the journey into dementia and Alzheimer's. It's like a 6-stage journey.
Yep.
This is much shorter. And it's good. This one's good. That
good.
one, you're like, kind of hurts.
After
this
6
one,
hours, yep.
This one is musically good.
Very
This is a depressing romp
Yep.
into the life of a person who is supporting someone else through a terrible situation. And, you know, you've got around 40 minutes of depression.
Yep, at least.
And then like 10 minutes of optimistic hope. You know, it brings it round at the end.
yeah,
it's
definitely.
quite good.
Yeah.
And what I like about the album as like a unit is that it's spoken, everything is sort of, it's as if the man is talking to a person in that position
Yeah.
and saying, this is the worst. This sucks, right?
Yeah.
But then at the end, he comes around on it and he's like, it's okay now. Like, you know, there's some hope.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that in the full cycle is in there.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's the full breadth of human emotion. It's the lowest you can get.
Yep.
And then it gets high again, you know?
A little bit. Only for a little bit, though. It's not
Only
like
for-
it's 50-50.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, like from my music taste, you know, like as we were just joking about, like Red Hot Chili Peppers
Yeah.
being like favorite band.
That's not a joke.
No, we love it's coming.
Yeah.
Chili Peppers episode's coming.
Yep.
But yeah, usually in like rock albums or anything like that, or like most sort of genres, really, there's always like it goes up and down, sort of like it doesn't just stay down.
Yeah.
Best way of explaining it possible.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so like, and again, back to Chili Peppers, there would be like a really sad song and then followed by something like upbeat
And then they
again.
go, oh, we need to soften this blow.
Yes,
with
and
something.
bring it back up. And then they stay up, a little bit down.
Then none of that.
Here it just sort of keeps to get going, oh, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. And yeah, man.
And you're like, oh, cancer. That can't get much
Cancer.
worse. And
No.
then you're like, cancer.
But it's cancer. So it's like on top of everything else
Yeah.
that's going on,
Yeah.
which is just, it just, there's a lot of things in this album where I'm like, this is just really sad and I don't know why I'm listening to it.
What is your take on the album in terms of like conceptually what it's about? That's what I wanted to ask. And I suspect
Okay.
it's a question that's on your list somewhere.
Yeah, sure, I'll write it
Because
down.
you were talking to me about all the different interpretations and things.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I won't, what do you got? I have like an understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then it's like one step away from cancer. But I just want to know what you take.
Okay. See, because I've listened to it, I think, in full 3 times.
Hmm.
And that's 3 hours of just contemplation, I guess. Just is contemplation a word?
Yes.
It is?
You've done it.
So I feel like it is a story about a toxic relationship, for one. I didn't get the whole hospice worker and patient until looking into it. I think talking to you about it as well. I thought it was more just partners, the boyfriend, girlfriend. He can't leave her because she has like cancer
Yeah.
and she's going to die. And he's just got to be with her for that last part, even though he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And then she ends up dying, but also getting buried with him. He was down there as well. And then there's a little bit of optimism in Wake, and then
That's the good
it
stuff.
just. And then I have the song titles, and there's also like another version. Like, look, if I'm showing you the
What is
laptop,
this?
but have you seen
yeah.
that? You know
Yeah.
that? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And then the last song is Sylvia, Alive in Nightmares. So it brings it right back down. So
yeah.
I was thinking when listening to it, it was sounded some optimistic. I'm like, okay, we're going to get to a decent place. And I feel like it brought it back down towards the end.
Well, yeah. So epilogue is like the living with the memories and stuff
Oh, there it is.
because it's not done.
Yeah, no.
Like you live through that, you're not having a fun time. But I like Wake a lot. that is one of those songs where I will just listen to it sometimes.
Right.
Because it's like 8 minutes of like, yeah, it's pretty chill.
Yeah. yeah.
I think when I'm in those moments where I'm like, I want to feel something, I just put it on.
Yeah. It's
Good. Yeah, no. So the difference between the sort of the cancer patient story and the toxic relationship story is like, both are in there.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are at the time, it varies, you know? So when I first listened to it, I was in not an abusive relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to make it clear, I'm still not in an abusive relationship. But
Of course, yep.
I was dealing with a lot of medical things
Right.
with my partner. And so I was like, these are some weird emotions that I've never been able to articulate.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I've seen anything touch those bits.
Right. Yeah. So is that sort of why it resonated with you so much?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I think in a way, most men, and I hate to generalize too much,
Yeah, it's all right.
but I think it's one of those things where men typically aren't as good at expressing emotions and things like that.
Yeah.
So for me, music is a lot of the time like a way to get in touch with my emotions. And this is sort of a weird cathartic release
Right.
that goes for an hour. I got new headphones recently and I put this on and I was like, wow, let's go. An hour of sad.
I remember when I was growing up and I had a mate at the time who like he was just going through something and he was putting on sad music. And I asked him, I'm like, why are you listening to sad music when you're sad? Have you heard of Chili Peppers? You know what I mean?
There's these other things you
It's
could be
other
listening
things make
to.
you happy.
Yeah.
And he was just saying like, well, like I want it to resonate with me right now. I don't want to feel happy.
Weirdly enough about that, there's studies that have been done on mood congruence with the music you listen to and what happens, like outcome-wise.
Oh, no.
And they're like, don't listen to sad music when you're sad. It makes you sad. And I'm like, I know. Shut up.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
exactly what I'm doing. I'm putting this in my body. I want it there. It's my choice.
So where did you find this album? Like it's not very well known. Like,
That's a good question. I don't honestly remember. It might have been... You know, there's sometimes those things that pop up on Reddit where they're like, ask Reddit, and they're like, what's your favorite album or something like that. And I don't know. I just trawl through those sometimes looking for music.
Yep.
It's somewhat popular. Like it's kind of a bit known, but yeah, it was in one of those threads or something somewhere, and I just like picked it up. I think that's where I found the Many Hours of Dementia album as well.
I was about to say, because I asked you on if it's somewhat niche album to explain it, and you were like, oh yeah, here's this more niche thing. And I also found that less people know of. Let me just relate it to that real quick.
Because, yeah, that's the one that is like, it's kind of a meme.
Yeah.
But I went into it being like, all right, what is this?
Yeah.
I want to know about dementia
why not?
and what that experience might be like. It's ruined like 1960s and 70s music for me. I can't listen to
really?
it. It's not good. Because what it is like, it's not one song, it's a couple of songs.
Okay.
But it goes for like an hour of this song. And it's like, you know, sort of a kind of a Bioshock-y era of music, but I think a little bit earlier. And you listen to sort of the same songs and then they just get a bit weirder. And then like it's the same songs again and you listen to it again and it's like, this is going on. Like you're continuing the album. You're not just replaying the song. No, it replays the song, but it distorts it like a little bit until eventually you hit like, I think it's like stage 5 or something.
Yeah.
And it's like semblance of a memory or something. And it's like, it's just so underwatery and like distorted that you can pick up the things because you've been listening to it for 4 hours or something. But it's not right. And you can feel it and you can feel that something isn't right. You don't remember what it is. It's just off. and it gets more and more off
my
as
God,
you go. That's why people are like, it's like an experience of going through dementia, because it distorts these songs, and so you have the happy memory because they're good songs, at the start, and you're like, somewhat nostalgic for these nice songs.
Yes.
And then by the end of it, the nostalgia is being like pulled on, but now it's weird. And you're like, I can feel that it's weird, but I have the happy memories, but it's bad and distorted in a way that you're like uncomfortable with. Back to Hospice.
Back to Hospice. Yes. Oh, we said it's by the Antlers, by the way. I don't think we've said the band name.
Oh, yeah. Apparently a rock band, I think they're classified technically.
Folk rock, I think. At least on Wikipedia, yeah.
Yeah. Which is always interesting to me.
That's not.
Well, I've heard there are other albums, and
okay. Yeah, fair.
they've put out a lot of stuff. It's similar. Not as depressing, but the music is similar.
Right. Because I really like the music on this album.
Yeah.
And I would say up to Bear.
Bear's good.
Bear good. I didn't get it. I'm like, why am I listening to this? This is making me upset. And why am I here? Like, if it wasn't for a podcast, I've turned it off at Bear.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's not bad, but I know that there's music that would make me feel okay and still sound as good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where do you think sort of like music like this sort of places, I guess in a way of like sort of if it's necessary or not, you know what I mean? Because like for a lot of the time, music can sort of be you can disconnect from life. You can listen to music and it's a way of just disconnecting from whatever's going on and you can just feel better.
Yeah.
An album like this where it's so sad and it just layers on different sad shit that's happened. Where do you think that sort of like, fits?
I think it's just the opposite, right? Like if you think about the role of art in society.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do this.
You've got escapism, which is one avenue you can take, but you've also got like like hyper realism, and that's sort of what this is, because this is just taking a terrible experience that you might relate to, and if you do or you can, then this is one of the only places to get this type of connection in the world. Like, where else are you accessing that emotion ever?
Yeah.
Like, no one else is out there being like, let's have a chat about cancer and what your experience is. Like, unless you're going to a psych or something, you're never going to be able to have, and I think this is the only thing that I'm sure there's stuff out there which deals with this, but this is the only thing I've found that accesses just like that really specific niche where it's like, and it can be applied to things like medical stuff or like DV situations or like abusive relationships and things like that. But it's sort of a cathartic release for people in that situation, and they can connect. And, I think that's what you get out of it. You get that connection, or like the understanding that other people are going through this as well. People have gone through this. There is sort of an optimistic hope story being told, sort of.
Yep.
But yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, I didn't think anyone was going through this, and someone is. And they're okay now. We wrote a song. Whole album,
baby.
Whole album. They're pretty popular.
I saw, do you know how to pronounce your name? Peter Silberman, I guess. The main guy. Because Antlers is sort of a one-man show. But he said in the interview, like, he was more worried about it's not people liking it or not. It's about people, like, listening to it. Was it a big issue?
Yeah.
Because there's not many albums like this. Like, that. So, like, putting something like this out where it's such a risk. And especially in 2009, I'm pretty certain it came out, right? Was it 2009?
I think so.
Yeah.
A bit ago.
Especially around that time. Before all of like Spotify sort of came in that much, and like where everyone's making music. It seemed like such a ballsy move almost, where it's just like, I'm going to make an album about all these terrible things, which he might have gone through. I don't think he went through everything. Do you know anything about that? Like how much of that was sort of based in reality?
I would assume that it's too specific to be able to be written without having gone through some of it, at least.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's too on the nose.
Yeah.
I think because I haven't looked much into the backstory.
Okay.
I don't know what the history on it is. But I would assume that there's been something going on. And I think, just the message about wanting to get it out because people can resonate with it. If they can, then that's great. But if it just died, like no one listened to it, that would be the saddest thing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You pour like your entire being into this album and just no one listened to it because it's like, there's a weird album about cancer.
Yeah, exactly. And like some of the vocal performances, like in Sylvia, for instance, like he's killing himself.
Absolutely,
His voice, oh my God. Screaming into the abyss. If that was if that was the case, that would have been terrible.
And I think there's a place for that, but it's not what he wanted. I also like that there's, I don't remember which song it is, but there's just a bunch of like what sounds like a dial-up modem as an instrument.
Instrumentally, it's a very, very solid album. I really enjoyed that part. Like, before when I first listened through it, that was sort of what was keeping me there. It was like all these depressing lyrics that I can't even understand half the time, but I know they're depressing because every third word I can sort of understand. But instrumentally, it is like beautiful. It is amazing, and it flows so well.
It's so good. Yeah.
Like back to what you said in the intro, was like it's one song basically. Like that 50 minutes. Yeah. It's hard listening to just one of the singles or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't think I've said this yet, but if you're going, what are we, half an hour in? If you're going to listen to it, you need to sit down with the lyrics next to you because you can't understand them half the time. And usually the lyrics for the first song, there's no lyrics for the first song, but the lyrics say, here's some backstory.
Oh, really? Does it do that? I didn't do it on the first song. I tried on Spotify and there was nothing there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think if you go to their website, they've got a lyrics. Okay. Yeah. And the first song's lyrics are like, here is backstory about Sylvia and all this stuff. Like it's just, I don't know, excerpt from his diary. Like, oh my God. Not quite, but yeah. It's like the nightmares and stuff she was going through at the time or something. But it's like, that's the lyrics that they've put in the lyrics for all for the first song. Yeah.
Listening to it with the lyrics, like I was just, finding so many one-liners that was just so depressing. So depressing. I should have written them down, but I didn't because I'm a good I'm a good podcaster and I know what I'm talking about. And it was just even more, I didn't think it could get more depressing. And then I listened to it with the lyrics in front of me. I'm like, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't like it as much when I was listening to it with the lyrics just because it was taken away from
it takes away from the
and everything. Like, I wasn't focusing on actually what was going on. I was just trying to listen to just the lyrics and it just, was just more sad without the goodness that I feel when I'm listening to the music.
Episode 5, everybody. How good? You know what's also good? The GM's playlist that has just been updated by this week's wonderful guest, Nick, featuring songs from New Jabez, Half Alive, and Too Mellow. The link for the playlist, along with all my other socials, can be found in my link tree at linktr.ee/jmansky. Also, if you're enjoying Jams, feel free to give it a cheeky rating on whatever platform you use. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. Alright, thank you. Back to the episode.
So you could have chosen any album to talk about on a podcast.
Yep.
So why this one?
Well, as you said, and you hadn't told me at the time what everyone else was picking, but I just assumed that people would be picking like semi-popular, upbeat albums. And I was just like, I could have picked New Jabez. No, here we are. I want to pick this one. Because I think it is like, this album will always have like a weird special place in my heart.
Right.
And it's one of my favorite albums, but I don't know. It's a weird one. Secretly, I just wanted you to listen to it so that we could talk about it.
Because you knew it was something completely out of
I knew you'd never listen to this until I made you. As soon as you talked about doing jams, I was like, perfect.
I can manipulate him to listen to anything I want. Finally. Because you did make me a playlist a while ago.
Yeah, and you listened to it.
I did. And I was like, but like half of it. And half of the stuff was good. The new best was great.
Yeah.
Like, the first half was just sad folk music. I'm like,
and you're like, oh no.
this is what I need right now.
Yeah.
I think I was like fresh out of a breakup and I was already sad. And then you're like, hey, have this.
You like depression?
No. Yeah, like, no. Anything else right now? Anything
That's
else?
all I listen to.
Yeah. So I guess that was on me. I knew what I was getting into.
Well, okay. How was Hospice for you then?
Honestly, I enjoy it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. When I, like I said, first like half listen.
Yep.
And then I had to get off the train and do work stuff. I'm like, I don't want to listen to the rest of this. This is just making me upset. I usually like to listen to music on the train to work to like disconnect. So I don't have to think about stuff. And this is like, no, you're thinking, brother.
That's all you're doing for this hour.
Yeah. Because it's not even anything that's related to the album by any means. Like, it's not like I've gone through anything like, even remotely like this.
Yeah.
But it just makes you sad.
It's real sad.
You just contemplate things. Oh, I didn't know this was bothering me.
But now you do.
Yeah, exactly. And the more I listened to it, like I think from like the second listen, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm getting it. And then the third time around, like, no, I want to listen to it now. Like, this is actually like, I like how it makes me feel in a weird way.
Yep.
Because it is so different to everything that I usually listen to. Even though it is so sad, but musically it's amazing. It sounds so nice. Even just instrumental. If it was an instrumental album for an hour, like I wouldn't enjoy it as much because I really do love some of the performances from it, from Peter. But like, yeah, the instrumentals was definitely something that I really enjoyed on that album. It was just, it flows so well. Like, I know I already said that, but it was just, the whole thing. It's so, and all of them sound independent of one another. Like they do sound like different songs. Yeah. But it is sort of like again, as you said, like it is sort of one giant piece of music, which is very hard for an album to not to feel like one big piece of music, but also feel distinct in each song
And be good.
That's the main thing. And sound good.
Well, they've done other albums which are less depressing. The one I can think of is something about like the attic in the stars or something. Yep. But they talk a lot about putting their dog down.
Jesus. Oh my God, these boys have gone loose as shit. These Antler boys, oh my God.
Yeah. But it's great. Like the album's really good. Yeah. But I don't listen to it as much because it's not about cancer.
And then he's like, give me that cancer talk. If you're not talking about
cancer. I want a good album that will make me feel and be really good. And the other albums are really good, but they don't make me feel as much.
It's a very good like middle ground between both of these. It's very hard for an album to do that. Yeah. Like sound amazing, but also make you think.
And I think that was the thing, right? Because you were like, why did you pick this? And I was like, I want to make J-Man feel. Because I knew you'd like, it's just something so far out of your wheelhouse. Yeah, like it's not something you'd ever engage with.
Yeah. If any of these songs came into a week, like a Spotify weekly playlist, whatever, anyone independently, I would have gotten 10 seconds in. I'm like, nah.
What is this? Get out of here.
This stupid artwork. What even is a hospice?
His hands or something?
I didn't know what a hospice was. Hot Spice. I kept... Okay. I guess we're going to come clean on this. Yeah. I kept calling it Hot Spice. So when I would like sort of like forget, I'm like, oh, I got to listen to the album. What's it called again? I would type in Hot Spice into Spotify. Does it come up? I don't think it did. And then I'm like, oh, I'll listen to something else. It's all right.
I want to know what comes up when you type in Hot Spice now into Spotify.
Well, thank you for choosing this album because honestly, like, yeah, I do like this album. It's an album that I will continue to listen to after this, and I'll keep finding more meanings to it and keep getting like, oh, look, it's even more sadder than I thought. I thought this was the saddest, but there's like over 10 levels to go down.
And then you're like, oh, the wedding band. Oh no!
Oh no! What's the wedding band? What? I missed the wedding band.
You were talking about one-liners, and there's a line in there like, I can't remember what the line is, but it's like the wedding bands around their finger became like chains or something.
Oh, Jesus.
Because he's stuck to her. He can't leave.
Oh, God.
Yep. Good stuff.
Okay, so just imagine that there's a little music jingle that comes back in like 2 seconds ago, and then now we're talking again.
Okay.
Back
We've been
on
talking the whole time.
Yeah, but I cut that.
Sorry,
'Cause it was
what?
fucked.
What?
It was fucked.
I didn't say anything bad.
You
Did
talked
you?
about- Okay, so what do you actually think that the album is about to you? Because I know you said it before, but because it can be so interpreted in so many different ways, and you're saying that like whatever mood you're in, it sort of fits that mold. Is there sort of a definitive story? Yep.
Well, see,
So
the thing is, like, there's sort of two parts. It's sort of a potential allegory for cancer, but I'm sorry, I mean a potential allegory for an abusive relationship, right?
Yeah.
So you can relate to the medical side of it, supporting someone through a stressful medical time, but it's I think the core themes are around sort of the powerlessness to help someone that you love in a situation where they need nothing but support.
Yeah.
And you're like trying to go through that situation and navigate it as best as both of you can do at the time, but neither of you are equipped for it. But then also, I think there's times when I'm like, I guess themes around potentially being stuck in a situation that you're not that happy with. And I think those are two sort of themes that can resonate with a lot of people around different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be about an abusive relationship or something like that. But yeah, it's just around the guilt and shame that goes along with being in that space. And oftentimes what you see is people who are carers of someone or something like that, they often feel a lot of guilt and shame around feeling like they want to leave or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think just being able to put that message out that it's like this is a normal experience to feel in that situation, I think is really powerful. And a lot of people don't talk about that. And it's one of those things where if you do talk to carers, things like suicide rates and depression and anxiety rates in people who are carers of others are very high because they often are pushed into that situation. Oftentimes it's like a family member or something like that. And they don't really get the support because it's so focused on the other person. Yeah. So oftentimes the person doing the caring is sort of their feelings are minimized. And they don't feel comfortable sharing the struggles that they're going through because the focus is on the other person, right? The person in this case with cancer.
Yeah.
And I think these are important messages to put out there.
That was an amazing answer. That was beautiful. Oh my God. Did you write that down? Did you have that like prepared?
No.
So when I ask you that question, you're like, oh yes. He's asked me about what the album means again. I'm going to say this.
I'm very passionate about carers.
You are? Is that because you care about me so much?
Yep. I'm your carer.
But
It's because you take the spotlight.
I take the spotlight right off you and put it where it should be.
Yeah, on you.
On
That's all
Jamie.
right. You can have it. I don't feel guilty about.
But yeah, no, you do make a good point on like when there is someone, like caring for someone else. As soon as that carer complains or has any thought of even complaining, it's like, well, it's not about me. It's about the person I'm caring about.
Yeah.
And everyone else might be scared of everyone else thinking like if he complains, it's like, whoa, how dare you?
What have you got to complain about?
Yeah, you're not the one like in hospital right now, and like, you don't have anything to complain about. Which, when someone doesn't have an outlet to talk about everything going on, it's just a downward spiral.
I think the sort of the idea of the wounded carer is such a prominent concept in society, and you're always like, which is why if you look at the people who are in psychology or caring roles, oftentimes they're the people who are willing to minimize themselves to put the focus on someone else. And you can sort of see that a lot of these feelings and things will feed into that sort of core belief about themselves, which might be that they should be minimized or something like that, and they're willing to take that spot. And often they don't speak out about it, or they don't, sort of get the help they need in that situation because they might not reach out or something like that. And I think that's sort of doubling down on that situation and that sort of person and things like that it's just one of those things that people don't talk about.
And so albums like this sort of like bring that to light and sort of normalize it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So it's because this is the most popular Antlers album, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. At least on Spotify, like it looks like it has most of the listens and sort of the top 5.
I think it's got like 1 million views on YouTube or something.
All right.
Like it's pretty big.
And that's really good to see. That's really good to see that stuff like this is sort of becoming a bit, maybe not a bit more prominent, but it's clearly with the reception for this album. With Peter not really knowing what was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with Hospice and Hospice, I'm going to say the Antlers.
Hot Spice.
But yeah, like with them releasing this and not really knowing what was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
To people resonating with it and like what you're saying, like, oh, finally I have an album that I can relate to about all these topics that no one else talks about. Everyone acts as if they don't happen.
Yep.
And it's so nice to not only have some people talking about it, but in this way, like a medium of music, where it's a lot more people can listen to it. Just even instrumentally, like I was mentioning, that was my favorite part of the album.
Yep.
And then due to that, I listen to the lyrics and I think about all
like, it's pretty good in here.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is normalizing in these type of situations, which I think is very important. And not many other albums sort of do to this extent.
It tickles a weird spot in my brain that I don't get tickled anywhere else.
That is the best way of explaining that. But that is perfect because when I listen to it, like nothing else, other album I've ever listened to makes me feel this certain way. Yep. And it's not a good feeling and it's not a bad feeling. It's just a feeling I don't usually have.
Yep, that's right. And I think things that open up the other bits of my brain that I don't get to look at much is positive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely using... you'll be like when you use more 100% of your brain.
Yeah.
Like who was that? Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Scarlett Johansson for a bit. So she became a robot thing.
Not
a robot. She was just like.
Wasn't she like?
No, she was like, we're gonna use 100% of your brain, and she's like, and then became like a blob or something, or like.
Oh yeah, and she could interface with the cell towers.
Yeah, that's it. That's pretty good.
And Morgan Freeman was out there being like, "We only use 10% of our brains," and I was sitting there like, "You're wrong, Morgan Freeman." Like, what? Surely Morgan Freeman knows more about the brain than what he's saying.
Do you know how much of the brain we use?
All of it, idiot.
All of it? What?
Yeah.
That's a good shit. I've never gotten that answer before. I always thought it was like, I don't know, 80% or something. I didn't know it was all your brain.
Well, okay. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
What are the bits of your brain?
The left and right side.
Good.
Thanks, bro.
And they have different purposes.
Yeah. So that's what I was just about to say.
So surely, if you only used one, there's been studies about people who only use one half of their brain.
Wait, what do you mean? People actually...
So sometimes, there's particular reasons why someone might only use one half of their brain. J-Man's like, oh no, I'm in a lecture now.
No. No, I'm in that. I'm like, I use 50% of my brain.
Not at all. No.
Okay.
We're talking... sometimes people split the hemispheres because it can cure epilepsy.
What?
So when people have untreatable epilepsy, they have a lot of seizures and they can't do much about it. One of the things that they can do is cut the corpus callosum.
Is that left or right?
It's the bit in the middle that like joins the two.
Oh, okay.
And so they split it. So they have... So then they do studies on those people.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you do when you do this? And it's really weird to see. Like, they'll get them to do stuff like draw a clock. And you think about the way a clock is. It's a circle with 1 to 12, right? They Well, oftentimes they'll have the circle. They'll draw a little circle, and then they'll fill in all numbers 1 to 12 on like the right side.
No
The
way.
left side will be blank.
No way. That is not true. Are you serious?
I'm
Are you
serious.
fucking with me?
Yeah. No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's wild. And there's just a bunch of things like that because
Yeah.
they have different roles, and when they don't talk to each other properly, you're a bit weird in some ways.
Bit weird, yeah.
Which is a bit weird.
Right.
I don't remember the other ones. It was many years ago I looked at those studies.
That's still. Did you do that for fun? Were you just curious?
No, it's part of uni.
Okay.
They were like, look, the brain's weird, man.
They showed you that movie?
Yeah, pretty much. And they were
Like
like,
idiots like J-Man are going to believe that we're only using 10% of our brains.
yep,
And one day you'll have a chance on a podcast to prove him wrong.
that's right. One of these days
One
you'll
of
go
these
on
days.
Jam,
Yep.
and you'll be jamming out with J-Ham.
Okay. No one else calls me J-Ham.
I don't either.
Who's that?
Who's that? Who's J-Ham?
Okay. Yep.
How did we get here? Sorry.
Scarlett Johansson. So back to
yeah,
her.
of course.
That's what we're
of
talking
course.
about this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're like polar opposites when it comes to like these topics. It's really good. It's very interesting. We're like the left and right side of a brain. I'm like the cortex. What was it again?
Cortex is the entire outside of the brain. The corpus callosum.
I'm
is
the
bit in
corpus
middle.
callosum.
And no, so one side,
You're not.
because that'd be the one that pulls us together. No,
Yeah.
you are a side.
Oh yeah, my bad.
So
True.
I don't remember which is which, but one of them is like creativity, and the other one is like facts. It's good.
Okay.
We've got it.
So am I the creativity or am I the facts?
Which do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I have facts.
Well, you said you researched this,
I did. I found a fact ID.
so today I'm the creativity brain.
Oh shit. Oh, no, when we're both fucked. I'm gonna get my phone.
Check your phone.
Break.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll make sure to keep the podcast alive after you go.
Okay, thank you. Wait, I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
What are we up to?
One of them, whichever one you want.
You or what? You or a loose story with many option. Sorry, let me say that again. You or a loose story with many option. That's the question for you, J-Ham. Take it away. I'll head over and check my phone real quick.
So I thought that Nick was making a joke and like making me sound illiterate, but this is the full question I have. What is your interpretation of this album? In brackets, is it one clear story to you or a loose story with many option? Jesus. Man, I'm going to surprise him so much. I'm going to ask him that question. He's going to be so surprised. Okay. Oh, I got a question for you real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so wait, I'll wait until you're done texting.
No, go on. I got
Okay.
it.
What is your interpretation of this album? Is it one clear story to you or a loose story with many options?
It's a bit of both.
How many options?
Many option. There's many options on here. Well, I think the thing is like it's one story, quote unquote.
Yes. Oh, your phone's messing up with the... That's all right. Hopefully that's fine.
That's probably fine.
I can...
See, it's one story,
Yeah.
but you can interpret it any way you want.
Any way you want. Any way you're feeling that day.
Any way you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
You know, it's like,
Well, I wasn't actually supposed to ask you that question because I think I've asked it sort of twice in different ways.
Oh, okay.
It was just funny comedy.
this is good.
It was just a comedy time. We'll try to wrap up. We've been recording for an hour 15, like a question and a half, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay,
And
sounds
that'll be
good.
a good 40-minute pod.
Sounds good.
So I was on Reddit skis, right? I found, because there wasn't too many interviews and there wasn't much going on in this album. But I found a Reddit post talking about this album. And it's like, what does this mean to you? Someone, probably you, wrote goddamn paragraphs on every song and what it means. I'm like, I read half of it. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not reading all of this. What I did find, which was funny, so there was a topic on what is Bear about.
It's about bears.
No, it's not about bears. Okay.
Do you want to ask me what bear's about? Is that what this is?
Well, yeah, sure. Let's ask that first. I was going to tell you what Reddit thinks, but let's hear what you have to say and we'll see if you match.
Bear's about a small child.
Yep.
And then an abortion.
An abortion.
Yep. Well, do they get an abortion? I'm pretty sure they do at the end of it.
I think they do. Because there's a couple of lyrics like saying no one needs to know and stuff like that where it just leads to...
Well, I think that whole song is about them going through the process of thinking about an abortion.
Yeah.
And the bear is the boy or girl, not sure which. No, but it's a small child. There's a little bear. He's sleeping in his little cave. And yeah, it's just she was pregnant. And it was a time when their options weren't great either way.
Yeah.
And it's about adding that sort of stressor into an already stressful relationship and the sort of conversations that they were having and things at the time. And I think, if you're like, wow, there's so much content out there. They've got to have covered everything, right?
Yeah.
This one's about cancer and sometimes abortion.
Fuck. What else? What else can we talk about in this episode? There's a wide variety of music, millions and millions of albums.
There's some discussion around... do you have to put a trigger warning at the start of this?
I feel like I will. I genuinely will.
Probably should.
I really should. I really will.
Yeah. There's a little bit of talk about suicide in there.
Yep.
Talking about, I think Sylvia. Yeah, is the main one that talks about suicide.
Yep.
No, there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot in this album.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. This album is a lot. A lot of emotions.
A lot of emotions.
A lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times.
It's longer than I thought it would be, if that makes sense. Listening to it, I thought it'd be a shorter album, and it just sort of kept going. But it kept me interested, which is surprising because, as you can tell, my questions it's going everywhere. But so this is what Reddit had to say.
Sure,
about Bear. So one person said, aborting a child. Mm-hmm. One person said aborting a relationship.
Sure.
For a relationship, the bear, I guess, would be the relationship.
So the bear is their relationship?
The bear would be their relationship in that, and then aborting that would be, to break up, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then someone else said, I don't think it's about abortion. It's more a reference about her cancer, being stomach cancer, the procedures that go with removing the tumor, in brackets the bear, and how inevitably was unsuccessful. Because when it said, we'll make all of the right appointments, I was like, oh, we're going to look after the kid. And they're going to make all the right appointments and make sure. Then it's we'll make all appointments. No one needs to know.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yep.
That's dipped again to this album. A little bit up. Oh, this is nice. And boom. Back down.
Yeah. So the stuff about the cutting out the tumor and things is, I don't know, they talk a lot about cutting parts out and things.
Yeah.
I feel like it's talked about better in other bits than in Bear in terms of, if it was about taking the tumor out. I think they do the cancer imagery better in other songs. That's why I think Bear is more about the aborting a child. But yeah,
could be Bear.
It's art, could be whatever.
So here's a comment which made me crack up.
Okay.
So I'm hearing all these, comments about everything we've talked about.
Bring in the comedy, J-Man.
Oh, here we go. He's gonna be real funny.
This is good.
Someone said, so melodramatic. I get it. Oh, a girl died. Oh, a symbol for dying poisonous relationships. I was once in love with this album, but quickly grew to hate it. It's emotional music for people that need melodrama slapped across their face in order to feel anything. I'm like, yeah, that's Nick.
That's me. Yeah, I probably wrote that.
And then someone commented recently, damn,
That was me.
Damn, 8 years later, and this comment still sucks. Why would you go into a subreddit and get this far into I was deep into that discussion discussion, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, this is where I'm gonna give my 5 cents."
Do you smells?
It smells.
You guys suck.
This is sad.
Can't believe you want to listen to sad music.
Just me in another life, I think.
Yeah.
Me, if I didn't have friends like you, I was just a piece of shit.
It's you before I made you listen to this album.
Yeah, a week ago.
Yeah.
It was me. I used to be
And
such
then,
a piece of shit.
and you are the one who commented the next time. You are both of these people. There are 2 wolves outside of you on Reddit. Both of them are you.
I love that so much. 2 wolves.
So many wolves.
Can we talk about how cool you are if you post one of those, like if there's 2 wolves inside of you? What is it? What even is the original thing? We make fun of it so much. I don't know what the original is. I'm sure
But I
about
like it.
something to do about Dwayne The Rock Johnson and being fit and posting gym selfies. And
There are 2 rocks inside of you. One works out, the other is poop.
a lot. I want to keep that in. That's very good. What I like is that we're sort of in a rush.
Yeah, my girlfriend's waiting. I've put my phone down. I'm not reading her messages.
I really enjoyed Sylvia. I think I mentioned this, like I was talking to you earlier today about it, but I really enjoyed the vocal performance, especially on Sylvia. It was just amazing, and I didn't know how sad it was until I listened to it. I didn't know what he was saying when he says, "Get your head out of the oven." I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Hand?
yeah." I thought it was hand out of the oven. I'm like, "Well, that's inconvenience, but it's not terrible. Put your hand in the oven." I was just thinking, how would you close it? Thinking logically about this shit. How would you close it if your hand or head was in the oven?
I mean, I think it's more about the gas. Not so much the heat. Yeah. All right.
Great. All right. Well, I think we should wrap it up there because we have to go and pick up your girlfriend before she just stays at Parramatta Station for any longer.
At what station? Please, dox us more.
Oh, no. Last episode, Callum we were talking about Parramatta just being here in an apartment high up. So they got a lot of info on me.
You got to bleep it. Just feel like we're in blank apartment high up.
Yep.
Okay,
Well, I put music over some of the stuff we talk about. Like if we mention the song, we'll play a bit of that song. I can just do that with the word Parramatta.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah. So it's not us saying it.
And now again, you're making more work for yourself.
Always.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to mention about this album before we wrap it up?
Tons. Let me get to the top. No, I'll keep it short. Album good. Go listen to it. Even if it's not something you'd normally listen to, I think give it a chance because it's one of those things where, I don't know, you might not want to listen to it a second time, but that's okay. Give it 50 minutes, have the lyrics there, have a little watch of a sad time. But an interesting time. Musically interesting time. Might be something that you don't normally grapple with. That's okay. Might make you feel some things. Uh-oh.
I don't want that. I'll bloody tell you. I don't want to feel.
That's all right. Feeling things is good.
Yeah, that's what this album's taught me. Maybe not all the music I should listen to should be upbeat. Maybe that's...
What about when you're sad?
I have some sad albums.
You got some sad albums?
This one is now one of my sad
What is
albums.
your favorite sad album? And you can't say this one.
Rome by Danger Mouse. And it's not even that sad. It's just musically sort of like
Low.
Yeah. That's my depresso album. Whenever I'm feeling depresso, get a record player out, put that on.
Ooh,
Like,
you
this
got
is
a
how I'm
record
feeling.
player?
This is good. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But that's for another day.
Yeah.
We'll talk about an album.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Whenever I start choosing the albums.
When I come on to interview you.
But next time you will interview me and you can be the host and think of all the questions and do all the stuff, you know?
And it'll be good because I won't have listened to the album. And I'll be like, so what's this album about? Can you sing a bit? I don't know what it sounds like.
We just listen to the whole thing right now. Yeah. But as someone who this is completely out of my wheelhouse, I really love this album. I don't want to. I know we're making fun and stuff of it, but it's amazing.
It's good.
very enjoyable. That 50 minutes, it makes me feel things that usually don't feel with music.
No.
Or in general, I guess. And it's an enjoyable time, and it's an album that I'm definitely going to listen to more. Before we head off, I just remembered I've made a Jams playlist.
Oh,
So as anyone might be following me on Instagram or anything else, I sort of post stuff on.
shout out to Instagram.
Shout out Instagram, Jake Friends. I might keep it J Friends. I might change it to Jams. Who knows? But so every guest that comes on the podcast chooses 20 songs to go onto a playlist. And we're
Okay.
going to update the playlist when the day list goes live if you're not busy.
Sure. Yep.
So like a month from now.
Yeah.
So I know I sort of just put this on you straight away, but like, do you have any songs, maybe a couple from this album, or like any songs that you're sort of enjoying right now that you want to just quickly give a shout out to, and that will also be on the playlist?
Right now, what am I listening to right now? See, this is the thing. I've had a real stressful time lately, and I'm very angry. So I've just been listening to heavy metal.
Do you know any songs off the top of your head?
I'm really enjoying a lot of Bring Me the Horizon at the moment.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Bring me a joy, yeah.
What am I listening to at the moment? This thing is called Throne, and Drag Me to Hell is You Can't Drag Me to Hell.
So usually I put the song there, but I'm not. I'm gonna keep your version.
I've also been listening to the new 3 Days Grace album.
I don't know who that is, but sure.
3 Days Grace came up with an album like a week or two ago or something.
Yep.
And it's kind of about breakups.
Ah. Damn it.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of any of the names of that song.
That's fine.
I think the album's called like Explosions or something. And the album art is like a big heart.
Ooh,
But it's a
exploding?
fiery heart, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's spooky. Okay, well we're gonna
I'll figure it out. I love Nujabes. I'll probably put some Nujabes in there.
YouTube
Feathers, Nujabes, good.
Okay, cool. Okay, well thank you so much for coming out today and talking about
That's all right. It's been fun. I've had fun. Enjoyed
Talking
chatting to you. This time with a mic in the middle.
Yeah, finally, right? There's actually something productive about our stupid conversations we had. But thank you for showing me Hospice.
That's all right.
Yeah, enjoyed it
Glad
a
you
lot.
enjoyed it.
The Antlers, I'm going to give them a listen. I'm going to listen to their other stuff. And it's just, thank you so much for coming here and talking. And brilliant answers, by the way. That was something. When I'm just listening to you like say this, I'm like, how am I going to follow this up to anything? It's just brilliant. My questions aren't on this caliber.
It's even funnier because I see you summarize what I said, and then I summarize what you said.
And that's what friendship is, everybody. That's
what it's about.
mine and Nip's friendship.
Yeah, it's good.
I've been calling you Nip/Nick this whole time. I didn't ask you until now. What do you want me to call you?
Oh, that's fine. I don't really care. Either one.
Either
one's
one.
fine. Nick or Nip.
Yeah, either or.
Either's fine.
We should go in.
We should go.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you again. Thank you, sir.
It's been fun. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hello, it's me again. I just wanted to say thank you everybody for listening to Jam so far. As you know that this is the 5th episode of the series, which it's been amazing to make this content and put it out there and just chat with all my friends. I just want to say, quick thank you to everyone who's joined me on the podcast so far and everyone who is going to do it in the future. I have no script, as you can tell. I'm just going to do this once and then put it out to the world. I just want to say thank you to Gentle Ghost for letting me use their song. It's amazing, and I love it very much. Thank you to everyone who's listened to the podcast so far and given it a rating and given me any feedback about it. And thank you to you right now for listening to the outro after an hour of me just talking BS with my friend. I appreciate you a lot, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.